late to today's class. Good evening, wishes. Balasurinder, good evening. Thank you for asking. Good evening. How are you, ma'am? I'm fine. How are you? So, E. Kavi. Good evening, madam. Good evening, Kavi. Good evening. To the rest of you all, I'm a little late today because I had some connecting issues. There was no power and I had to connect using the Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi access was not proper. So, sorry for the inconvenience caused. Good evening, wishes to everybody. Rahul Hassan, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Rahul Hassan. So, Darunya Satanathan. So, I wanted to know, is my voice clear, Rahul Hassan, or is it buffering? Is my voice clear? Darunya, is my voice clear or is it buffering? Bala Surendra, to everybody, the question is my voice clear or is it buffering? I feel like there is some hiccup in the Wi-Fi connection. In the hotspot connection. So is it clear or is it buffering? Okay, it's clear. Okay, very good. Thank you. It was a good news for me because I thought it would buffer and there could be a hiccup in the class. So as usual, today we'd go about with the class. Today we'll go about with the third list of words. Okay, so all in one for banking, the Royal Pass, the 12 months validity costs rupees 1066. The 9 months validity costs rupees, okay, Samyukta, thank you for responding, it's clear, okay. The 9 months validity costs rupees 888 and the 6 months validity costs rupees 777. So all your course details, your course would comprise of, all bank video courses, all bank exam PDF courses, all mock test series and ebooks, all bundle paid PDFs, or super batch tests for bank exams, all current affairs paid PDFs. It will comprise of all of it, and you have to visit www.crackwithjack.com and you have to press the buy button to buy all of it. So is it clear? So if you can purchase your Royal Pass and if you can use it, it would be more accessible and it would be more easier for you. So that is the reason behind giving you all this information. Okay, so Pomp. So what do you think is the meaning of the word pomp? I want all of you to spend enough time and understand what do you think is the meaning of the word pomp. So what is the pomp? So what is the general meaning of the term pomp? The inbox is open to your answers. What is the meaning of the term pomp? So pomp is nothing but a ceremony or splendid display. When somebody does something and it is extremely very nice. So that is when you would say the simplicity is pomp. Or you would say we enjoyed the pomp or the display. We enjoyed the pomp or right degree of pomp. So all these are entertaining overseas visitors with the right degree of pomp, right degree of ceremonial gestures, right degree of splendid display. So that is no pomp or ceremony when there is no fun, or when there is nothing very ceremonial, or when there is nothing very ritual based or anything like that. That's when you would say there is no pomp. So ceremony and splendid display is when something is grandiose, something is very filled with grandeur and it's splendid, and the action is like you all like it when you see it. So that is the whole idea of being pomp. So and it functions as a noun. So it is nothing but ceremonial, solemnity or ritual. So all these comes under pomp, which kind of signifies grandeur. The opposite of the term pomp would be simplicity. When something is done very simply, without a lot of chaos or without a lot of decor and everything, that's when you will say it is simplicity. Entertaining overseas visitors with the right degree of pomp. So these overseas visitors, what is happening to them? They are engaging them with the right degree of pomp. So he preferred simplicity. So what does he prefer? He prefers simplicity to what? To pomp and circumstances. Simplicity to pomp and circumstances. To anything grandeur or anything extravagant. What did a particular person prefer? He preferred simplicity. That is one way of giving a sentence. They struggled to stay composed. So how did they struggle to stay? They struggled to stay composed. அப்படின்னா ஒரு மாதிரி அடக்கமாக இருக்கிறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருந்துச்சு. ஏன் அப்படின்னா they were in between a extravagant situation called amid pomp and pageantry. So amidst these conditions, how was it difficult? It was difficult for them to stay very composed because the situation was filled with solemnity, ceremonialness, splendid display and all of that. And so how was it? It was difficult for them to stay composed. Is the video getting buffered again or is it clear? Is the video getting clear? Is the video clear now, Rahul Hassan? Voice is clear, but is the video okay, Rahul Hassan, or is it still getting buffered? Is the instruction clear? Is it clear now or is it getting buffered? Clear. Okay, very good. So did you understand the meaning of the word pomp? Was pomp clear? He preferred simplicity to pomp and circumstances. He struggled to stay composed amidst pomp and pageantry. So that is the sentence which is given for your term pomp. So is the instruction clear, Rahul Hassan? Is it clear now or there is any hiccup in terms of listening to? Is there any hiccups or is it clear? Is it clear or is there any hiccups? Clear. Okay, very good. Thank you, Priya. Thank you for responding. The second word on the screen is bonhomie. So bonhomie kind of means cheerfulness, friendliness and being very genial. So it is a kind of a notion which talks about being very friendly and being very to the point and being very contagious, the laughter is contagious, right? Being very, very genial, being very happy about something. So that is called bonhomie. So it's geniality, congeniality, conviviality. So I'll get the pronunciation of this word. But it kind of means that you are very cheerful, you're very friendly, you're very genial. So you're very good. So the opposite would be coldness. What would the opposite of bonhomie mean? And you can give me sentences for the word pomp. So most of you all have understood the meaning of the word pomp, right? You can give me sentences for the meaning of the word pomp. So geniality is like you're very cheerful, you're very friendly, you're very to the point, and you're very kind, and you're very good natured, and you have a easy rapport with everybody. So that is called bonhomie, and it functions as a noun. So coldness is when you are on the opposite terms and you're not very cheerful or you're not very friendly. So that is a context when you are not in good terms with your friends. He exuded good humor in bonhomie. What did he do? He exuded it. So that is called the whole idea of using bonhomie in a sentence would come as follows. So he exuded good humor and he exuded bonhomie. So I have a beautiful sentence for you to explain bonhomie. The atmosphere on the first day. On the first day, beneath a surface bonhomie was tense. So despite having a very happy situation on the first day, so what was happening? Was tense. Despite having a very good atmosphere of feeling very happy and feeling very the surface atmosphere was like being very congenial. So that was a whole atmosphere. But beneath that, what was the whole vibration of the place? It was a vibration of tension. The drinks that are poured at the sense of bonhomie. That is another sentence which you can use. The drinks that you add to the overall sense is a sense of enlightenment. Hootie was forged in the fire of resistance, not bonhomie. So she was forged, she was pushed into a situation of resistance, and she was not pushed into a situation of joy. So they are the other sentences for the whole idea of the statement called bonhomie. So is the instruction clear? Is the instruction clear? Holi will be celebrated with great pomp over North India. So you're kind of using a ceremony. So Holi is I've heard pompous function as an adjective, but I'll clarify if it means the same as this context. But pompous functions as an adjective. So it's celebrated with great pomp. So it's celebrated like a splendid ceremony with the display of events with the right degree of pomp. So Holi is celebrated with the right degree of pomp in North India. Okay, very good. Well understood, Rahul Hassan. Kudos to you. Very good. The rest of you all can bring in your sentence as well. Yes, if it's clear. I'm a little worried about that point. So I'm always looking into the chat box to identify if this is right. Okay, so the atmosphere of the first day beneath the surface bonhomie was tense. The inauguration was full of pomp. So the inauguration was a ceremony of great pomp. Yes. Inauguration was a ceremony of right degree of pomp or great pomp. Okay, very good. Conscription. Conscription would function as a noun, and that will be your third word for today. So it is a compulsory enlistment for state service. So when you want to join a particular person to the army force, that is when you call it conscription. So call up or draught, that is the idea to join somebody in the army. So that is when you will use the word conscription. So conscription is nothing but to join somebody in the army, to join them in the entire notion of army. So that is called conscription. And the synonyms will be to call up or to draught. And what do you think will be the opposite of calling up somebody for the army? The opposite will definitely be dismissal. You would probably reject them. You would not take them in. So that is the whole idea of the opposite of conscription. Conscription was extended to married men. So army la சேர்றது வந்து is not only for unmarried men, it is also for men who are married. So that is the whole idea, which says conscription was extended to married men. So compulsory enlistment for state service, typically into armed forces, call up or draught, other synonyms, and the antonyms will be dismissal, and your sentence will be conscription was extended to married men. So I'll give you a few sentences. You can look into the sentence. So, those were all wars in which young men were subjected to conscription. So since the condition prevailing was full of war, what happened? The young men were forced to conscription, which kind of tells you that they were forced to enter into the army. One of the reasons to close the border conscription age men inside the country. So எதுக்கு வார் டைம் அப்போ நம்மளோட பார்டர்லாம் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா அட்மிட் ஆகக்கூடிய ஆர்மி ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ் எஸ்கேப் ஆகி போயிடக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுக்காண்டி they will close. Men are liable to conscription and tens of thousands of them have been killed. So என்ன அது நிறைய பேர் அட்மிட் பண்றாங்க ஆர்மிக்குள்ள, அவங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் என்ன ஆகுது? they are all pushed to a state of death. So all these are the sentences which you can use for the word conscription. So if you know any sentences, you can give in that sentence as well. That will also be useful to the whole class. Predatory. So predatory அப்படினால predators அப்படிங்கிற வேர்ட் வந்து நம்ம சயின்ஸ்ல படிச்சிருப்போம். People who, animals who kill other animals for food அப்படின்னா predators நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ இதே மாதிரி கண்டிஷனில் இங்கிலீஷில் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா predatory மீன்ஸ் சீக்கிங் டு எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்ட் அதர்ஸ், மற்றவங்களை கெடுக்கக்கூடியது, எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்டேட்டிவ், ஒருத்தவங்கள wolfish. So all these are terms which kind of give you an idea that you are so violent and you are kind of exploiting, destroying others for your benefit. Rapacious. So all these are words which tell you that you are exploiting or destroying or wolfish, or you're very violent in terms of your, my brother got a conscription in the last chance. Okay, very good. He had an opportunity to join the army in the last chance. So predatory is nothing but seeking to exploit others, to kill others, or to being very wolfish. So that is the whole idea. It is a negative context. Predatory effects. So predatory men or whatever is the negative context. And your antonyms will be generous, satisfied, and temperate. So when you're very happy with whatever you have, and when you are very satisfied with your choices, so that's when you will say you are using a statement which is opposite to predatory. Predatory means being very exploitive, wolfish, and rapacious, but the antonyms will be to be very generous, satisfied, and temperate. She always felt at the mercy of a predatory man. So she was always in a merciful condition when she saw a predatory man. Predatory man is a man who exploits somebody else. So predators are the animals that we see in the English glossary. Yes, so in the English glossary is more appropriate in the biological glossary. So predatory is a very common term in terms of the biological glossary. So it is to seeking to exploit others, exploitative. So what do they cause? They cause death in terms of somebody, or they cause violence in terms of somebody. So all these are contexts where you can also say a animal is predatory, or you can say a person is predatory. So predatory animals kills and eats other animals. So you have different contexts where you will use predatory. So in terms of predatory animals, these animals kill and eat other animals. So predatory animals are animals which kill and eat other animals. So predatory as a person functions as somebody or an organization tries to get something that belongs to 1 minute. So predatory person is a person who kind of is violent, or an organization tries to get something that belongs to someone else. So when it belongs to somebody else and you take it over, that is also an act of being predatory. So that is when you are getting rid of somebody who's of a significant importance as well. So it is used to express, actually, the more I cannot use certain words, but I'm just telling you. It's usually a word which is used to express sexual interest. So that is also a context where you use the terms predatory. Okay. So I will use predatory in a sentence and I'll give you an example. The owl is a predatory bird that kills its prey with its claws. That kills its prey with its clause. That is a sentence. So I hate going to the bars on my own because men look at you in such predatory ways. It's like in a very unfair way, or it is not in a very prompt way. So that is also a way when we use predatory. So what's the timing of the class dealing? Every day the class takes place from 4 o'clock to 4:45. But today I had some issues with my internet. So since my internet was not to the point, so I had to actually, even now the internet is a little bit of a chaos, and that's why I think some of you feel it's a little buffery, but from tomorrow it'll be okay. So actually, if I take a class of 2 to 3 weeks, one class maximum is a little like this because of the internet connection, but otherwise it's fine. So the sessions will take place from 4 o'clock to 4:45. If by any chance it won't get delayed, and if it gets delayed, it will be from 4:15 to 5 o'clock. So that is a maximum. So you will have class every day from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. 4 to 4:45. Prudently, it's one of my favorite words. It functions as an adverb. So you know very well that when you have an ly, it functions as a adverb, correct? So when it tells you more about your verbs, it modifies your verbs. So it functions as an adverb in a way that shows care and thought for the future. So cautiously, alertly, and carefully. So all these are the words for the word prudently. So the antonyms will be carelessly, incautiously, irresponsibly. So when you have prudent, we must act prudently to safeguard our jobs. How should you act? The verb act should take place prudently. So in a way to show care and thought for the future, we should save resources prudently to safeguard our lives in the future. So it is like to look after it carefully. We should safeguard our resources prudently for a better living in our planet. So we should restrict our uses of electricity prudently so that we have enough electricity in the near future. So all these are contexts where you can use the sentence prudently, and prudently is a very easy sentence. So if you have any sentences, you can share it in the live chat box. So we should act prudently, we should save prudently, we should do our jobs prudently. So a caretaker's job should be done prudently. So all these are places where you can use your word prudently, which functions as an adverb, and its meaning is to show care and thought for the future. So it is carefully, cautiously, or alertly. We must act prudently to safeguard our jobs. So how should we act? We should act carefully. Why? To ensure our job doesn't leave our hands. So that is the whole idea of act. So is it clear? You can give me sentences. I'm studying prudently for the upcoming exams. You're studying cautiously, you're studying carefully for the upcoming exams. Very good, Priya. Very good. Geeta Priya. Very good, Geeta Priya. Very good. I'm studying prudently for my upcoming exams. You're showing care and thought for the future and studying cautiously for your exam. So the antonyms will be irresponsibly, incautiously, and carelessly. So your next word will be pronged. So pronged functions as an adjective, splits into two or more directions or paths. Prudent will function as an adjective, a prudent man. Prudently will function as a adverb. So if you use the term prudent, he's a prudent man, na, prudent will function as a adjective. Prudently in Gala, it will function as a adverb. So that is a difference in the parts of speech which is visible in terms of the context. Okay, is it clear, Priya? Okay, pronged is actually splits into two or more directions or paths. When you have something and it splits into two or more directions or paths, it's called pronged. Branched, branching, or forked. So that is the whole idea of pronged. So and what do you think will be the antonym of pronged in Pathingana? It will be joined, straight, and unbranched. So when it is joined together and is straight and it's not divided into branches, that's when it functions as its antonym. So what do you think generally is pronged in Pathingana? It is branched or branching or forked. He passed his fork to the right hand to prong the meat. So what is it? To split the meat, to make it into parts. That is called prong. So the butcher prongs the meat every morning. What does he do? He prongs. He splits it into different parts. So he splits it into different parts. So the cutlery were arranged for us to prong our sumptuous meal and eat them. Sumptuous like a wholesome meal. So the meal enna pandranga? They are, as a safety officer, my job is to look at my, yes, very good, is to look after your workers very prudently. Very good, Rahul Hassan. That's an excellent sentence. So your responsibility, what is your responsibility? So your responsibility is to take care and look after. So that is an exact sentence. That is a very good call in terms of a sentence for the idea, sort of the idea prudently. So very good. So pronged, what do you think is pronged, Rahul Hassan? We've come to the next word, pronged. So pronged is when you can create two or more directions, or when you can split them into small portions. When you can, for example, if you take it in terms of the food, so that is actually prong is the actual word. Pronged actually acts as a past form, but it acts as an adjective in terms of a sentence. So prong, when you use it in a sentence, I'll give you examples for using prongs. So the prongs of my pick may plink, plink, plink music. So what will happen? It kind of lead to a situation where you are plinking in terms of the whole idea or arena of music. So that is the whole idea. So that is the whole logic in terms of the statement prong. So prong, when it functions, it can also function as different parts of speech as per the overall application. So but generally, prong is each of the two or more pointed parts of a fork is when you will use the idea called prong. So prong is more common or contextually analyzed in terms of the idea called forked. So each of the separate parts of an attack or an argument, so that is also termed as prong. So when you fork it, it is also prong, and when you kind of divide it into pieces, that is also prong. Biden had a new 6-pronged strategy to deal with the virus. So he had separate different parts of a strategy. For what? To deal with the virus. So I will write the sentence, it will be useful for you. Biden has a new 6-pronged, so 6 parts strategy to deal with the virus. To do what? To deal with the virus. To deal with the virus, what does he have? He has 6 parts which deals with the virus. At that point, the man stopped kicking, but the deputies didn't remove the taser prongs from his shirt. So something they used to branch, they didn't remove that from his shirt. So all these are the different ways which we can use the term prong. You can give in your sentences as well. I attend the class, and so I will attend the class and I would prudently take notes. So prudently is very carefully. So you would take notes. Very good. So I pronged my work with my roommates. So you pronged your work with your roommates. So do you think that makes sense? I pronged my work with my roommates. So I pronged my work. So I don't think it's grammatically correct because it still deals with the idea of being forked. So I pronged kind of will signify Okay, so you are having a specific number of sharp projecting points to a particular idea. So that is when a four-pronged fork or a three-pronged strategy, a multi-pronged problem. So all these are contexts where we will use pronged. So branched, when something is branched, when something is forked, when something is tined. These are contexts where we more appropriately use the term pronged. So it could be a pronged whisk, or it could be a four-pronged fork. So all these are contexts, a multi-pronged problem. So I had to face a multi-pronged problem, or Biden had a new six-pronged strategy. The students in the class pronged to different groups. So that's what I'm telling you. Pronged is a more common context which is used with reference to a fork or with a strategy. So an object having specific number of prongs, tines, or sharp projecting points. So it is like branching, or it is a more diverse word. It's a more it's a more confined word. So it is used in terms of physical objects, but in terms of your application, I would definitely check. So you have two-pronged, three-pronged, four-pronged. So it functions as an adjective layer. So in that context, it will be multi-pronged, two-pronged, three-pronged. So I think that is more appropriate in that context. So I will get back to with your couple of sentences tomorrow in the next class. But it is a more in detail, more intense word. So which talks about direction or paths. So it is about two-forked, or it's about two-pronged consequences, or multi-pronged branches for this assessment. So it's a more intense word which can be dealt with in detail. So your next word, I will come back to you with the word pronged, but you're making very simple sentences. You can, since your words are of very high vocabulary, I want your sentences to also be as efficient as your words. So it's good that you've understood the meaning of the word. I want it to be more like how Rahul Hassan's yesterday's sentences were. It has to be more advanced so that you will get an idea of its application. So irritants functions as a noun. A thing that is continually annoying or distracting. So annoyance or irritation or a source of irritation is what is meant by irritants. So the dirt in the dust acts as an irritant to our eyes. So what does it do? It acts as an irritant to what? To our eyes. So irritant is like when something is very annoying. So help and pleasure will be the synonyms of the context of the idea of irritants. So in 1966, Vietnam was becoming an irritant to the government. So how was it becoming? It was becoming like a source of irritation to the government. Irritants in the air cause hiccup to our eyesights. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணுமா? சரி, நான் தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன். ஷண்பக பேகம் தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன். ஓகே, இரிட்டன்ஸ்னா நமக்கு வந்து எரிச்சல் கொடுக்கறது, சம்திங் விச் கிவ்ஸ் யூ இரிட்டேஷன். எரிச்சல் கொடுக்கறது தான் நம்ம இரிட்டன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ இரிட்டன்ஸ் மீன்ஸ் சம்திங் விச் கிவ்ஸ் அஸ் எரிச்சல். எரிச்சல் கொடுக்கறது தான் நம்ம இரிட்டன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ அனாயன்ஸ் ஒரு இரிட்டேஷன், ஒரு சோர்ஸ் ஆஃப் இரிட்டேஷனாக இருக்கிறது தான் இரிட்டன்ஸ். So it is to help or to give pleasure will be the antonym of the idea of the word irritants. So in 1966, 1966 so actually it is very simple. Pomp அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து if it functions as a particular part of speech, it is based on the application. இப்போ வந்து எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா for Anand's question, every part of speech has its own significance. இப்போ ஸ்விம்மிங்குங்கிற வேர்டு வந்து ஜென்ரலாகவே என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நவுனு. பட் ஆனால் ஸ்விம்மிங்குங்கிற வேர்டு பொதுவாகவே என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட் இஸ் எ நவுன். ஆனால் என்ன ஆகிடும்னா அது வந்து சில கான்டெக்ஸ்டில், சாரி, ஸ்விம்மிங்கிற வேர்டு பொதுவாகவே என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அது வேர்பு. பட் சில கான்டெக்ஸ்டில் அது நவுனாக ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும். ஸோ அப்படி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அது ஜெரண்ட் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ எல்லா பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச்சாக மட்டும்தான் ஆக்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்ல முடியாது. ஒரு அஜெக்டிவாக மட்டும் இருக்க முடியாது. சில கான்டெக்ஸ்டில் நவுனாகவும் மாறும். சில நவுன்ஸாக மட்டும் இருக்காது. சில கான்டெக்ஸ்டில் வேர்பாக மாறும். சிலது வேர்பு வந்து நவுனாக மாறும். ஸோ அந்த கான்டெக்சுவலாக அந்த அப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் மாறும். இட் வில் சேஞ்ச் அக்கார்டிங் டு த கான்டெக்ஸ்ட். So different contexts, different things which functions as nouns might function as verb. Functions as verb might function as noun. So it is different in different contexts. with certain exemplary ideas. But most of the time they function as their part of speech. And I think if you have any doubts with part of speech, யார் டவுட் கேட்டிருந்தா பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச்சில் நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா முன்னாடி சீரீஸ் போட்டிருக்கோம் பிகினர் சீரீஸ்னு சொல்லிட்டு நவுனு வேர்பு அட்ஜெக்டிவ் என்னென்ன கண்டிஷனில் நவுன் வந்து நவுனாக ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகாது, என்னென்ன கண்டிஷனில் வேர்பு வந்து நவுனாக ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும், இது எல்லாத்துக்குள்ள டீட்டெயிலுமே ஒரு 20 to 30 கிளாஸஸ் சேர்த்து நம்ம முன்னாடி போட்டிருப்போம். அது எல்லாத்தையுமே பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச் பற்றி ஒரு கிளியர் ஐடியா கிடைச்சிரும். பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச்சில் இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சேர்த்து ஒரு வேர்டு வந்து ஒரு பார்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச்சை கான்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணும். அதுக்கு வந்து நீங்கள் கிளியராக இருக்கிறதுலே மைன்யூட்டஸ்ட் ஐடியா கூட கொடுத்து தான் அந்த பிகினர் சீரீஸ் நாங்கள் எடுத்திருக்கோம். ஸோ நீங்கள் அதில் நோட் டவுன் பண்ணிக்கிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு அது யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். ஃபார் த ஒன்ஸ் ஹூ ஆஸ்ட் மீ ஆனந்த், ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் எனி டவுட்ஸ் இன் தட் யூ கேன் ஆக்சஸ் ஆல் தி பிகினர் சீரீஸ். ஸோ பிகினர் சீரீஸை பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னாலே உங்களுக்கு கிளியராக எல்லா ஐடியாவும் கிடைச்சிடும். அதில் எப்போல்லாம் வேர்ப், என்னென்ன வேர்ப் இருக்குது, என்னென்ன டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் வேர்ப் இருக்குது, என்ன அட்ஜெக்டிவ் இருக்குது, என்னென்ன டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் அட்ஜெக்டிவ் இருக்குது, அட்ஜெக்டிவ் எப்படி ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும், வேர்ப் எப்படி ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும், நவுன் எப்படி ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகும், இது எல்லாத்துக்குள்ள இன்ஃபர்மேஷனுமே அதில் போட்டிருப்போம். ஸோ நீங்கள் அதை பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு கிளியர் கட் ஐடியா கிடைக்கும். ஸோ ட்ரம் இஸ் வெரி இரிட்டன்ட் டு இண்டியன்ஸ். ஸோ இது வந்து எப்படின்னா யூ கேன் யூஸ் இட் இஸ் திஸ் லைக் திஸ். ஸோ இண்டியன்ஸ் ஆர் இரிட்டேட்டட் பை ட்ரம்ப் அப்படின்னு நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். Indians are irritated by Trump's actions or anything. So houseflies are the most irritant species. Okay, houseflies cause irritant by sewing around the house all the time. So they are moving around the house all the time and they cause irritant to our eyes. They act as irritants to our eyes. So they act as irritants to our eyes. They cause infection in our eyes. So they act as irritant. They act as an irritant. Houseflies act as an irritant is a good point. So when I'm sleeping in a very good evening, the houseflies acts as an irritant, disturbing my eyes. That is a common context. So inge vandu irritates is more better than irritant. So Trump is a very irritant. Trump irritates Indians. Abdingadhu vandu is a more common idea in terms of using the term irritant. So escalate is a very beautiful word which means to increase rapidly. So the number of people who are affected by COVID escalates in the last 4 years. Headlines paapom. The price of the tickets have escalated. The price of the movie fare for different movies have escalated. Soar, rocket, shoot up, mount or soar. So all these are the meanings of the word escalate, and the antonyms are to plunge. The number of people affected by COVID have escalated. As it's holiday time, the prices of the movie tickets have escalated. So escalated is when it is raised. The uses of phones have escalated nowadays. Okay, so they've raised. The percentage of youngsters using phone have escalated over the last 5 years. That is a more appropriate way of rendering your statement. Good, Geeta Priya, you're trying. I'm happy that you're trying, Geeta Priya. Very good. As it's holiday time, the prices of the movie have escalated. The number of people affected by COVID have escalated. The price of the tickets have escalated. So whether it's rise up or shoot up, so it is more common in terms of the price or in terms of the percentage of the population. The number of independent working women in the last 10 years have escalated. So all these are different contexts where you can use escalation. So which is to shore up, or which is to soar up, or which is to rocket or to shoot up. That is a whole idea of escalate, which is to increase rapidly. So that is the whole idea of the term escalate. The percentage of women using phones nowadays have escalated. Very good. Very good, Geeta Priya. Kudos to you. Good try. Dissidence. Dissidence functions as a noun. So what does it function as? It functions as a noun. A person who opposes official policy, especially that of an authoritarian state. So a person who objects. A person who opposes the official policy, who goes against the official policy, who is not supporting the official policy. So that person is called a dissident. A person who does not support a official policy. So who do you think is a dissident in terms of our government or in terms of our society? So who do you think acts as a dissident? A person who is a thief is supporting the official policy, is opposing the official policy. He is doing something which is not allowed to do. Or in oppositions, when you have a government framed, they act as dissidents where they oppose the official policy. So especially on an authoritarian. So since a chief is more under the mediocre state, we can go into an official authoritarian state where you have a meeting and people act as objectors or protesters. So when you have a particular law given and people are against it on a global level or on a state level, they protest the whole idea. So conformist is a person who agrees to the idea. So a dissident or a protester is a person who moves against the idea. A dissident who had been jailed by military regime. So dissident, what happens to the dissident? A person who opposes, he's been jailed by the military people. So what happens to him? He is under difficulty. அவனால மூவ் பண்ண முடியல. டிசிடென்ட்னா என்ன? ஒருத்தனை அகேன்ஸ்ட் பண்ணுறது. ஒரு விஷயம் நடக்குது அப்படின்னா அவனுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்டேட் பாலிசிக்கோ ஒரு அத்தாரிட்டிக்கோ எதிராக போகிறது தான் இஸ் டிசிடென்ட்டோட வேலை. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்படி தான் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு இப்படி பண்ண மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னு போய் நிற்கிறவன் ஒரு ஒஃபிஷியலான ஒரு செட்டப்பில், அவனுக்கு பேர் என்னன்னா டிசிடென்ட் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். So I have a sentence for you. The dissident was, ஒரு டிசிடென்ட் இருக்கான். ஸோ அதை ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக சொல்கிறதுனா we using the was known for speaking out against what? Against unfair laws imposed by the government. ஸோ டிசிடென்ட் என்னது? ஒரு டிசிடென்ட் இருந்தார். அவர் வந்து ரொம்ப பிரபலமானவராக இருந்தார். எதுக்கு பிரபலமானவராக இருந்தார் அப்படின்னா அன்ஃபேர் லாஸ்க்கு வந்து என்ன பண்ணார்? ஹீ ஸ்போக் அகேன்ஸ்ட் இட். ஸோ ஹீ வாஸ் வெரி ஃபேமஸ். Many dissidents were imprisoned for expressing their views during the time of political turmoil. ஸோ நிறைய டிசிடென்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணாங்க? கைது பண்ணப்பட்டாங்க. எதுக்கு கைது பண்ணப்பட்டாங்கன்னா அவங்களோட வாய்ஸை வந்து ஒரு பொலிட்டிக்கலான ஒரு பிரச்சனை இருக்கக்கூடிய டைமில் கொடுத்து அதனால இருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்னால அவங்களாம் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க? they have imprisoned them. அவங்கள கைதியாக்கிட்டாங்க. So that is the whole idea of your term dissidence. So I'll read the sentence. The dissident was known for speaking out against unfair laws imposed by the government. So ஒரு எதிர்க்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஆள் அவர் வந்து ரொம்ப பிரபலமானார். எதுக்கு அப்படின்னா கவர்மெண்ட் பண்ணக்கூடிய தப்பெல்லாம் எதிர்த்து பேசுனதுக்காண்டி. Isn't that is called the whole idea of using the term dissident. So many dissidents were imprisoned for expressing their views during the time of political. So political கஷ்டங்கள், turmoil, பிரச்சனை இருக்க டைமில் வந்து வாய்ஸ் அப் பண்ணதுக்கு நிறைய dissidents என்ன பண்ணாங்க? They had put them into the prison. Is it clear? So sometimes bikers become dissident by riding the bikes without helmet. So actually it is used on an authoritarian state னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க பாருங்க. So it is used on to the authority based ideas. ஒரு policy, ஒரு official policy. So Geeta Priya, your sentence will not come. So your idea will come only on this. The context is based on a official policy or it is based on an authoritarian state. இந்த கான்டெக்ட்லாம் பாருங்க. எதிர்த்து பேசுனதுக்கு தூக்கி ஜெயிலில் போட்டாங்க. ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கக்கூடிய பொலிட்டிக்கல் கண்டிஷனில் இப்போ எடுத்து பேசுனதுக்கு தூக்கி ஜெயிலில் போட்டாங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி கண்டிஷன்ஸ் எல்லாமே கவர்மெண்ட் ஓரியன்டட் அத்தாரிட்டேரியன் ஸ்டேட் உள்ள இன்வால்வ் ஆகி these words are coming into existence. So you will use contextually, certain words are used in a certain context. So the dissident who is not obeying the traffic, your sentence is incomplete first. The dissident who is not obeying the traffic rules, அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? Your sentence is incomplete. So, and I told you very clearly that this is applicable in terms of official policies or authoritarian state conditions. It is more applicable. The dissident who is not obeying traffic rules, அப்படின்னா what are you trying to say out of it? Are you creating a sentence? ஒரு sentence சொல்றீங்களா? இல்லை என்ன சொல்ல வரீங்க? So a person who is an objector or a protester in terms of a situation, that is called a dissident. That person is called a dissident. So your last word for today will be repression. So repression functions as a noun. Okay. The act of subduing someone. ஒருத்தர மண்டை அடிச்சு கீழே தட்டுறது. மண்டையில் அடிச்சு கீழே போ அப்படின்னு பண்றது. That is called subduing. ஒருத்தர கீழே அமுக்கி தள்ளுறதுக்கு பேரு subduing someone. Or something by force. ஒருத்தரை கீழே தள்ளுறது, இல்லை ஒருத்தரை கீழே அமுக்கிறது, சப்ரெஸ் பண்ணுறது, quailing, quashing, or suppression. So that is the whole idea of the word repression. So the opposite என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா freedom and liberty. So when you have the right to be very free and when you have the right to be very liberal, so that is when you are very happy. So the context of repression என்னன்னா ஒருத்தரை கீழே அமுக்கிறது, மண்டை தட்டி கீழே அமுக்கிக்கிட்டே இருக்குது. So that is called subduing someone or something by force. So ஒரு force apply பண்ணியோ இல்லை ஒரு வார்த்தைனாலேயோ இல்லை சில செயல்கள்னாலேயோ ஒருத்தரை கீழே அமுக்கிறது வந்து பேர் தான் subduing. Okay. The students sparked off events that ended in brutal repression. So students சில ஈவெண்ட்ல சில வேலையெல்லாம் பார்க்குறாங்க, அது கரெக்டாக என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, ஒரு வயலண்டான ஒரு அமுக்குதல், ரிப்ரெஷன் ஆயிடுச்சு. It caused a situation where என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, it caused a brutal repression. What did it cause? It didn't cause a normal brutal repression. It caused a brutal repression. ரொம்ப வயலண்டான ஒரு repressive condition அது கிரியேட் பண்ணிடுச்சு. So students sparked off events. So students சில வேலைகள்லாம் பார்த்தாங்க, அந்த வேலைகள்னால என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா அது கடைசி எதில் போய் முடிஞ்சிச்சு, ஒரு வயலண்டான ஒரு ரிப்ரெஷன், ஒரு அமுக்குதல், ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷனில் முடிஞ்சிச்சு. They survived 60 years of political repression. So political repression, அமுக்குதல், பாலிடிக்ஸில் இருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் எல்லாமே எவ்வளோ வருஷமாக அவங்க சமாளிக்கிறாங்கன்னா 60 வருஷமாக ஒருத்தர் சமாளிக்கிறாங்க. தேங்கிறது could include anybody. It is not a particular person, but it includes a person who has suffered from all these conditions. The raw repression was too much for the world to ignore. So how was the whole condition? It was too much for the world to ignore. So பொதுமையாக ஜென்ரலாகவே ரிப்ரெஷன் அமுக்குதலுங்கிறது வந்து ரொம்ப ஒரு முக்கியமான பிரச்சனை, நம்ம இக்னோர் பண்ணக்கூடிய அளவு லைட்டான ஒரு விஷயம் கிடையாது அப்படிங்கிறது தான் இஸ் த மீனிங் ஆஃப் தட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். There's the quiet of peace and serenity as the quiet of repression and shame. ஸோ எந்த அளவு பீஸும் செரனிட்டியும் இருக்கோ அதே அளவு குவைட்டாக ரிப்ரெஷனும் அவமானப்படுத்துதலும் நடந்துக்கிட்டே தான் இருக்குது இந்த சொசைட்டியில். But the blossoming was short-lived and the 2016 depression was a full swing. ஸோ வளர்ச்சி அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து ரொம்ப குறிப்பிட்ட பீரியட் ஆஃப் டைமில் தான் இருந்துச்சு. ஆனால் அதை தாண்டி என்ன இருந்துச்சு, அமுக்குதல், ரிப்ரெஷனுங்கிறது வந்து மெஜாரிட்டி ஆஃப் த டைமை வந்து எடுத்துருச்சு. So that is the whole idea of using your statement repression. The act of subduing someone or something by force, suppression, quailing, quashing, freedom, liberty. Students sparked off events that ended in brutal repression. So your antonyms will be freedom and liberty. Your synonyms will be suppression, squealing and squashing. And the usage will be the raw repression was too much for the world to ignore. They survived 60 years of political repression. So I hope the instruction is clear. So we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you for watching today's session. So was the instruction clear? Was the instruction clear, students? Was the network clear? Was the instruction clear? Rahul Hassan, was the instruction clear? Was it visible? Was it audible, or was there network issues? Rahul Hassan, Geeta Priya, Was the instruction clear? Or was there network issues? It's clear, right? So I had an issue. I thought it won't be clear today. Was it clear? Clear no matter போட்டுருங்க on the live chat so that I'm very clear that it is clear. Today I had an issue. So I thought there might be an issue with the network. அதான் ஒரு 10 minutes later join பண்ணேன். Was it clear, Geeta Priya? The company represses the manager. Yes, the company represses the manager for not completing the target on time. Okay. So what does the company do? They subdue, they put the manager down for not completing the target on time. Very good, Kavi. Good response. Okay, Kavi. Thank you, Kavi. Thank you for responding. Thank you, Rahul Hassan. Thank you for joining today's session. Thank you, students. Thank you for joining today's session. Thank you, students. It was good, but it was a little buffering at certain times. Understood, Geeta Priya. Thank you. Understood. Today I had network issue. I'll ensure it doesn't